Mic check. Mic check. Hey, mic sounds good. Hey, Almond Eyes, how you doing? Mic check. Hey, mic sounds good. Hey, Almond Eyes, how you doing? Mic check. Ooh. Let me try now. Might have an echo. Let me try now. Might have an echo. Let me try now. Might have an echo. Oop. I got it. Figured it out. No more echo. I'm doing all right tonight. President Josh, nice to see you. So tonight we've got a body positive episode. There's a lot of swinging the pendulum, as we all know, in society. And they keep swinging that pendulum right into the artistic spaces. One close to my heart, video games. So we're going to talk about one of the newest video games about to drop next month, stellarblade. And the controversy that's currently spinning up across social media. It's an odd one, but as these always are when it comes to art. But we're going to get into it from the ladies' perspective this evening. I've got a couple reacts from two different ladies. One is a gamer, one is a YouTube content creator. Well, they're both content creators, but one is more focused on social and media, social and entertainment topics. One's more focused on gaming topics. But a good perspective. And then I'm going to throw a little bit of my own 2 cents of comedy and fuckery. You know, stellarblade is coming out for PS5, Josh. I don't have PS5. I'm running PC right now. But I don't know. We'll see how things go. Depending on how this game looks. There hasn't been too much of a draw for me toward any of the gaming consoles because I can do everything I want right from my PC. We'll see. We'll see. If there is a PC version that's coming out in a year, I wait anyway. I'm not too eager. You know, I got other stuff to do. All right, so it sounds like this week we got everything working like it should be. Last week we did have audio issues, so I do thank everybody for sticking with me through that. We all know how it works. Being a content creator is always exciting, especially when you're doing lives. All right, give me just another second here. We get started. Forgot I was running this on the Facebook side as well. So I am just checking on the status of everything, making sure it's good to run. Yeah, looks good. All right. Hey, what's good, Derek? Nice to see you, man. All right, everybody, let's get started.
This is a certified hood classic.
Right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Sakafet. And what's up to all my beautiful people from all corners of the world? Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Give me 1 second here. All right. Awesome. All right. How's everybody doing tonight? Looks like we got Bronze Flat Power God. We got Josh. We got Sis, Miss Queen Sunkiss. And Derek stopped by, Derek Gaines, and of course, Almond Eyes. And my two AI avatars, Kawhi and Cat and Poncho. All right, let's see here. All right, to start with, everybody, tonight we're doing a little bit of a body positivity episode. We're going to cross all kinds of emotions and feelings as always. So bear with the topic. Take it all in stride because it's all about perspective, of course. This evening we have female content creators on deck as the ones we will be reacting to, as well as a little bit of a mess from myself, as mentioned in the intro there while I was testing mic and technology. So I'm going to add my own flavor in, of course. And I got a co-pilot tonight. I've got my AI baddies with me. As you can see there on the right side of the screen. They don't talk too much. She's not going to say too much this evening, but she is here for your ocular entertainment, gentlemen. It is a slideshow, so enjoy. All right, as we move forward, I want to highlight a couple things that I've done as far as content is concerned. As you see here on screen, my beautiful, beautiful YouTube channel, which you are all, I'm sure, subscribed to, right? Everyone's subscribed. Everyone's rang the bell right next to the subscribe button. Last year, I ran a special on Final Fantasy 16. Social Justice Warrior Invasion, Final Fantasy 16. Hashtag gaming, hashtag Final Fantasy 16. So the content of that one, I went through and discussed a boycott that was a nothing burger that was out there. There were some individuals in the media and in the press that were a little bit angsty about the fact that this game was rather homogenous, meaning Final Fantasy hashtag too white. And that made some people upset. But then the creators of the game came forward and they said, hey, by the way, there's slavery in here. And in the scope of the civilization that these people are from, well, they kind of are a little more homogenous. So, my question I asked in the middle of my stream here was, so who are supposed to be the slaves and the bad guys? I mean, was it going to be the black people? Was it going to be the, as we know them to be, the marginalized people? Were the marginalized people from our reality going to be the slaves in this video game, or the slavers, or a mix of both? And then how would we feel about that? See, all these questions were asked when they didn't need to be, because the people whose imaginations developed this game had already answered those questions. But social justice warriors, as they are, stomped their little feet and balled up their little fists and clutched their little pearls and protested. So as time moved on, the SJW crowd can never remain quiet for too long. I had to pop back up at the end of 2023, pardon me, into last year, when was it beginning of this year? I don't know, 2 months ago. I don't remember. Time flies. Yeah, it was December. And the trailer dropped for Grand Theft Auto 6. The trailer just sent somebody across social media into a frenzy. It was the Chads. It was this weird sidelining group of people who were stirring up a hashtag ban GTA 6 meme and running it all over Twitter and social media because it was part of a uber conservative agenda. So now we have the pendulum swinging the other direction. And we got these conservatives, uber conservatives, speaking on behalf of black folks who they feel were exploited in GTA 6 and made to look horrible. Their culture was made to look horrible. Anybody with any common sense, as I mentioned in the video, anybody with any common sense knows that GTA 6 is the pinnacle of, or GTA series in general are the pinnacle of satire and video game satire. That's all they ever have been. Even with the threads of pseudo reality and storyline in there, these games are complete satire, and they're absolutely great games. Absolutely great games. I'll always stand by the Rockstar Games logo and the GTA games in general. They knock it out the park. And that's where I left us with both of those videos. Go check them out, of course. Check them out on my page. One of them is a live. The other is a pre-record. So go check these out. And of course, other media that you will find on my wonderful, wonderful YouTube. All right, moving forward. Video games, right? The problem that we're dealing with is, this time rather, is body positivity. The way that the females are depicted, the way that the ladies look. So what we're looking at here is the evolution of graphics and Lara Croft. I'm sure any dummy knows what assets we're checking out here as Laura has developed through the timeline. But what you can also see in this is a little bit of where they dialed it back to make her more comfortable to the masses, the social atmosphere of where we are today. For instance, here's 2015, not looking too bad. When we get to 2018, I mean, she's wearing body armor. I don't know what's going on there. That's not quite the Laura upper region that I'm familiar with. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Triangles. Who wouldn't be enticed by the triangles? Pixels. I mean, that's all it is. Pixels. It's a video game. There we go. 2006. Why couldn't we stay like that? Well, you have DEI campaigns, and you have people from all walks of life joining these development teams, and designs change. I think they went for more of like a D cup. I don't know, something right there, like a 34D. Those aren't bad. Those aren't bad. But then we started to trim things down a bit. Hey Woody, how you doing? So in the beginnings, right? We're back in the early 90s. I'm coming up as little super nerd culture, little baby culture, coming up in the 90s, high school. And let's see, we got Final Fantasy drops, Lara Croft drops. So you got Tifa, you got Lara Croft. Samus had already been out. And if you beat Metroid, you knew Samus was a girl. So there were all these female characters in our media that we were already familiar with. We didn't need anybody to come in and change up the way that things were being done because of inclusion and acceptance. Chill out, Jay, at JMac1993. She's a good content creator out here on YouTube. She does a little bit of everything social, as do most of us. So she has a decent library, 1.3 thousand subscribers. Go check her out. Just throwing her some flowers here because we're going to react to one of her videos regarding fat acceptance and the body positivity movement. Follow me now. Here's the way we're going to go with this. We're going to start off with her because what we're going to glean from this is where things started and a woman's opinion of where things currently are. We'll start her video off. Let me know if you do not have audio. I'm going to try and double check it from my side as well. Give me just a second here while I start this up. Let me get a one in the chat if you can hear. I'm not hearing audio. Give me 1 second. I'm not hearing audio. Give me 1 second. Give me one more second here.
The body positivity movement started out as a way to normalize people with disabilities and to move away from the admittedly toxic diet culture that ran rampant in the early 2000s. I can remember seeing Hollywood starlets like
Here we go.
Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears sauntering around in their size zeros, which there's nothing wrong with being a size zero.
Nothing wrong with that.
Most people are not naturally that. I stressed about my weight, especially since I was always a slightly chubbier kid than most of my classmates. I've always been tall, big hands, big feet type of thing, So I was self-conscious about my size as a young person as well. So I can acknowledge the fact that those fads were a little toxic back then. However, being a bit chubby as a kid and being a fully grown obese adult who
How's that sound, everybody? How we doing?
is not only obese but promotes the lifestyle as if it's some sort of bad.
Sounds good from my side.
And you demonize people who try to speak out against it using words.
That's right. Fair use.
Saying that exercise is racist.
What?
Yeah, exercise is racist. Y'all know that.
This these
The diet don't work the
fat
same.
acceptance
Shout out to
movements.
Messy
And
Michon.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, pretty fascinated by the stuff that I saw. One of the more ridiculous terms that has been paraded around in this body positivity, fat acceptance movement is fat phobia. Now, you guys know how we feel about phobias here on this channel. If it's not a diagnosable, consistently observable, pathological, irrational fear, it's not a phobia.
Yeah, I'm not scared of overweight individuals at all. And y'all have heard me on here before. Nobody is scared of an overweight individual. There's no Rasputia chasing me, right? What I have a problem with is co-opting a cause that has nothing to do with you. Co-opting a cause for individuals who were born contorted or were contorted by a situation or a disease or some kind of skin condition or a veteran that suffered a horrible accident or a child born without a limb. Like, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward.
Merely disagreeing with a chosen lifestyle is not a phobia. When the phobic label runs out, then they turn to their favorite catch-all phrase.
Right.
Bigot.
Right. You're a bigot.
Yes. Bigots running wild. Everyone who says something negative about a chosen lifestyle has to be considered a bigot. Sure.
Now notice her choice of words there too. She said chosen lifestyle. I'm going to put this out here because I've always mentioned this as well. I may have my biases and I may have my opinions about things, but I 150% understand medical issues that people have suffered and medical issues that people are going through that are cause of weight gain and things like this. That's common sense there.
Emphasis on the word chosen, because disliking a person for things that they can't control, such as their height, skin color, ethnicity, learning abilities, or disabilities, that is disgusting. But if I disagree with a lifestyle that you choose, like work, gluttony, swinging, etc., it's my prerogative to dislike those things, just like it's your prerogative to do them. But
right.
The word fat phobia itself being completely void of nuance and authenticity when it comes up in these conversations, the actions and thought processes that constitute fat phobia are equally ridiculous. Check out this now infamous clip of a TikTok influencer, I guess, letting us all know how fat phobic we are for simply having dating preferences.
Yeah.
Hey, bestie.
This is wild right here. This is wild.
I think it's time for another adult pre-K lesson. What do you think? All right, turn your listening ears on.
And again, I mentioned this before, but this is where it all starts, right? This is the radical side of things. This isn't the status. This isn't. Excuse me. This is the status quo radicals. These are where everything, the pendulum, the highest point of the pendulum. So this isn't like the varying levels of individuals who have body positivity and feel a certain, and have a certain, feel good about themselves. There's nothing wrong with that, right? As long as you're healthy and you're working in the right direction to maintain that and to be a better person. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the ones who are the radicals. It's always about the radicals. It's always about these loud mouths, these people that are like 0.0001% of the population, just talking their shit, getting media and getting the politicians and getting processes in jobs, DEI, co-opted for these little causes and stuff, when it really is not what it should be about.
Ooh, catch a bubble in your mouth.
Ayo, Blaze, glad to see you.
Job. Okay, here's the thing. Having a preference is something like, I'm looking for a partner who likes kayaking, or wakes up early in the morning, or loves pizza. But when your preferences exclude an entire group of marginalized people, that's problematic. Okay, that's not nice. That's not a preference. If you lump all fat people in one group together as though they are not very different individuals, That's fatphobic. Just like lumping all black people in one group and saying, I don't like black people is racist. And lumping all disabled people in one group and saying, I don't think people in wheelchairs are hot is ableist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
Notice her tone and inflection in the video. I get that it may have been purposely done for some equally comedic and
Wow.
condescending intention, but I think subconsciously this woman is talking to us like babies because she only possesses the communication skills of a toddler herself.
Right.
Can you imagine having an actual adult interaction with this woman? Yeah, so what's your take on the United States dependence on foreign oil? I like sprinkles. The positivity movement implodes on itself every time a bit of logic is applied to their theories. For instance, if there was not a biological imperative in inclination to prefer certain body types, why is the fitness industry still booming after all these years and has been consistently since about the 70s? Now, if you're wondering why it wasn't big before then, it's because people had much more active lifestyles and have since become much more sedentary. You know, people work at desks and cubicles. They spend their leisure time glued in front of screens instead of taking walks, hikes, bike riding, etc.
Right.
We have fast food restaurants on every corner. And since people are making more money than ever before, though it don't always feel like it, what was once an occasional treat of ordering out has now become the norm for many American households. This wouldn't be so problematic if the calories and sodium levels weren't so astronomically high in most takeout food. For instance, a grilled burger at home, a nice turkey burger, if you will, would probably run you about 450 calories in total with the bun, the patty, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, ketchup, versus a Big Mac being 600 calories with just the sandwich alone. But you already know your big back behind is not going to McDonald's and just getting that Big Mac. You gonna get the Big Mac and the fries and the drink, and you're gonna upsize because you're treating yourself after a long week of work.
I'm not sure I feel how I feel about a turkey burger though. I'm not sure how I feel about that, y'all.
Even though it's just Tuesday. Then you're going to get the apple pie as well, because why not? And the next thing you know, you're up to 1,200 calories, which is more than half of what you should be.
Facts, Josh.
The entire day. So that's usually how that goes. Not to mention the 60% of the daily recommended sodium amounts that's also in that Big Mac. And we didn't even get started on the fries.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know McDonald's fries has enough salt to lay you down. So takeout and eating out and eating fast food and all this inundation of this stuff is also what's contributing to this obesity epidemic. But the fat acceptance movement will have you to believe that there's nothing wrong with that there's nothing wrong with your arteries being clogged. This is coming from somebody who's a former fatty, guys. I've already told you that on this channel. Former fatty here. I do not condone the lifestyle. Never.
And see, I'm good with that, right? Like, you know, like some people will be like, you shouldn't comment on relationships unless you're in a relationship. You know, so I thought about it. I was like, let me go talk to a lady. Let me go get a lady content creator. And I was watching this and she was like, I used to be a fatty. I was like, oh, that's even better.
We're going to go back. Still on my journey. Still not even where I want to be, but nowhere near where I was. And I'm not going to condone people doing it just so I don't hurt their feelings.
Right.
On a much more serious note, many fat influencers have died as a result of their gluttonous lifestyle.
Right.
They have been
absolutely
on social media.
That doesn't invalidate the things that I
Blair.
She died. You ready to get supersized? She died too.
Today I got the big Fruit Loop.
Yeah, he died.
He's dead. Join me on my Fat Positive radio show, which didn't last long because she died.
Facts.
To deny that obesity has reached epidemic levels.
And I'm gonna tell you what, I was gonna show you that clip of Blair. I might show it again after she's done, but I was gonna show that clip of Blair cutting up and talking about the ones who passed away last year. It just is what it is. They're dead. It is what it is, and they were all in their 30s. So I'll let you chew on that.
Levels in Western civilization is not only disingenuous, but also extremely irresponsible. The internet has, unfortunately, become many people's source of information. People under the age of 30 have chosen sensationalized sound bites that go viral on multiple social media platforms. One such erroneous claim is that obesity alone is not an indicator of any level of poor health. My sister is skinny and she's nowhere near as healthy as I am. This may be
Bro, are you serious? That's the way people talk, though. We all know it. That's exactly the way people talk.
true, Agatha. But the difference is, if neither you nor your sister had any specific ailments, you would still be unhealthy due to your weight alone. Carrying around excess weight weakens your joints and brings about the reality of immobility much earlier than would otherwise be the case. In fact, being severely overweight ages you in general. How many times have you seen an 80-year-old fat person? Notice that.
No cap, though, right? No cap. I lost 40. I'm on 43, 40, somewhere between 43 and 45 pounds right now, lost over the past maybe 8 months, 9 months or so. And that's from reducing the salt, reducing drinking soda all the time, eating a lot more veggies, eating healthier veggies, using that air fryer like it's my king. Air fryers are the math. Get yourself an air fryer. If you don't have one, why are you fooling with yourself? Get an air fryer. And then like eating healthy can be boring. It also can not be boring, but it can be boring. So there will be times where I found myself just like getting in the habit of just like, substituting a meal with a smoothie and then doing like a big salad with chicken for dinner and eggs and avocados and pulling in, the healthy fats and stuff and like nuts and like the add-ons that you throw on your salad. So I would make these gigantic deluxe salads to kind of like get my calories back up. And the other thing I did too was like we all have these smartwatches, we all have these awesome $1,000, $800 cell phones, and nobody uses all the apps. We all have workout apps. There's at least 2 different workout apps that are free that either come with our phones or you can download from the app stores. If you use an Android, we have more options. Apple fruit people. Anyway, like on my Android, I got 2 apps. I got the Samsung app, I got the Google app, I got the Samsung app on my phone, on my watch. And I run it. You know what I'm saying? Like I started counting and it's easy on the watch because then I can just say, okay, I drank, 16 ounces of water, or I drank a liter of water or whatever. I drank, I ate a cheese stick and a sausage or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever your snacks are, your pieces of fruit, everything, you can total that up and you can go through like a month and figure out what a week looks like or what a good week looks like with that information and just build a healthier diet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no cap, no, you know what I'm saying? It's a low key flex because I did what I had to do to take care of myself. Queen, what's up, sis? Glad you're back. She said, while I eat a double Whopper from Burger King. Whoppers are delicious. I'm sorry. Whoppers are delicious. I haven't had one in a long time though. Don't tempt me. See, I was just talking about losing weight. Messing me up, sis.
Women feel the need to rally behind this trend. This is because aesthetics is something that greatly impacts women's existence. And no amount of trying to force society, aka men, to be attracted to something that they're biologically repelled by is going to change the dynamics of human interaction. And that's where my real gripe comes in. That's where I get angry. Because why are you trying so hard to force society to enjoy something that they don't enjoy? It's the same thing with the health industry. If we're being honest, we want people to be healthy and eat healthier, but at the end of the day, if they don't want to, we can't make them. We can't hit people with harassment lawsuits and have people get doxxed and lose their jobs because they don't want to eat healthy. But yet you can get doxxed and lose your job because you may have made what someone deems to be a disparaging comment about obesity or being fat. Doctors are getting malpractice lawsuits, getting sued,
right,
losing their licensure.
There's doctors that have had to take down signage that illustrates what BMI looks like, and they've been told to take down like body mass index and what is a quote unquote healthy body illustrations because it's offensive, because it hurts feelings. Regardless of what the statistics are, there's a range. And that range is based on facts. And the range can also account for the messy Michonne, the diet ain't working for me because it's racist excuse. So there's a lot more science than there is feelings out here.
Over merely telling their patients that they need to lose weight. I read a thread the other day where it was a slew of clearly morbidly obese women raving on about how they went to the doctor and there was something so really wrong with them that their doctor missed because all he was focused on was their weight. And I'm like, y'all don't realize the weight contributes to so many other things. It's not just the weight alone. It has other effects. So if you've been experiencing shortness of breath, if you've been experiencing nausea, if you've been experiencing joint pain, all those things could and probably are linked to your excessive weight. I have to stress again that this is not an indictment on average size bodies. I'm not suggesting that everyone's going to be shaped like Jillian Michaels. The average person's not going to look like her. But the average person also doesn't have to look like a beached whale. Okay. The average person also doesn't have to get winded merely walking up a flight of stairs or sometimes even just talking. I listened to a lady talk today at my job. I understand sometimes when you get going and you get to moving your hands around, you might need to take a little extra breath. But my God, lady, you just walked up to the podium. What is actually going on? But like I said, this is not an indictment on average sized people, but rather a public service announcement. If you struggle to bend down and put your shoes on, if you're the type of person whose knees and other joints ache all day, then you probably need to push away the plate and stop listening.
Yo, like I said, I lost 40 pounds. My right knee is telling me, hey, yo, thank you for losing 40 pounds. That's all I'm saying. My right knee is telling me that now, y'all. Like I climbed the steps with some groceries earlier today and I was like, yeah, that knee's acting up. Yeah, that's my 40-pound knee. That's the knee that started acting up when I was weighing more.
To these influencers try to tell you that there is nothing wrong with being obese. A lot of them are dying as a result of it. They can't even tell you that forever. The message can only last for so long because they're getting up out of here. Okay, they're dropping like flies.
The upper room.
White did an interesting video on this very thing. Another reason why women spearhead the fat acceptance, body positivity movement is because men wouldn't get anywhere near the respect that the women do from just complaining about their own bodies. If men went around basically whining and demanding respect for things that are conventionally and universally considered unattractive, they'd get made fun of.
True that.
What's gonna happen to you? You get divorced, raped. You get, for example, half your money gone, and it's like, okay, we're telling guys a solution. What's their solution? I don't know what it is, honestly. Yeah.
Ooh, ladies, did you cringe when you heard those men gathering together in sewing circles demanding respect from women when they're not respectable people themselves? See how nonsensical and laughable that is? You're not exempt, Agatha. Your movement is just the female version of that.
Yeah, congrats, Josh.
Another thing that I noticed about the fat acceptance movement is an inherent lack of self-awareness. Isn't that what you've been saying the whole time?
Well, yeah, self-awareness and accountability.
But I wanted to give a specific example, Inner Me. I see many women saying things like, I'm not even that fat. Or 250 pounds isn't even that fat. Baby, what is that fat? Do you have to literally be 600 plus pounds to be considered fat by these people? Consider yourself lucky if you've never heard the name Tammy Slayton, but honestly, if you clicked on this video, you've probably heard of her before.
You don't understand.
Yeah, she lives in Ohio. They live in Ohio. I'm pretty sure they do.
Not the same as my problems. I wish I could get up and do more for myself.
While she's drinking a Diet Coke.
You don't know how.
Are they in Kentucky?
And I don't say that just because she's an obese woman, but because she, like,
There was another show here in Ohio.
people in this fat
Maybe it was one of the camp ones or something.
have a very strange, undeserved sense of entitlement. To be fair, she may have changed over the years because Lord knows I've never watched more than 5 minutes of that show that she has with her sister.
Almond eyes, I'm dying. I'm gonna need to go over there. I'm dying right now. Are you serious? Oh God.
So if she has experienced some sort of character arc, kudos to her. But we can't pretend like she's not a pretty accurate stand-in for the average obese woman in America today. These people blame every single external factor for the fact that they're anywhere from dozens to hundreds of pounds overweight. The body positivity movement grasps at straws. I've heard women blame obesity on racism and white supremacy.
There it is.
An invisible white person threaten to clunk you upside the head with a Stanley cup every time you refuse a cupcake. In my most humble opinion,
It's a Karen.
chill out, Jay.
It's a Karen. It's the white supremacist ghost of Karen, and she follows these women around with Stanley cups and hits them over the head if they don't eat their next cupcake.
I think the reason all these miscellaneous social justice movements occur is the boredom of living in a first world country. We envy the
Now, okay, I heard her say this before, and that's something else that I was kind of hitting on or going to hit on. Because I think we're in an age of entitlement and envy, and boredom goes along with the entitlement, right? Because there's so much that we have that we don't realize that Americans, Westerners, just don't realize that we're bored. Like, look at the media. Look at what people consume and talk about the most, even in the YouTube spaces. It's all repeated, and it's all the repeat conversations over and over and over and over and over. They're bored. Their minds can't drift anywhere further. There's nothing stimulating them. They're not. People aren't doing anything. People have everything they need. Like, if there was something that people had to strive for and fight for and seek and actually had true opposition, they would be thinking and talking about something different. But with social programs and minimum wage jobs getting boosted and everybody, and they still complain, but they don't do shit because they're comfortable. People who are uncomfortable move. People who are uncomfortable do shit. People who are entitled and comfortable sit.
valor of times past and desperately want to solidify our place in history. But this isn't the way to do it, guys. There's nothing wrong with accepting the spoils of the toils of our forefathers. As a Black American woman who has never gone without, I recognize my reality is the result of several generations of people who made good decisions and made the best of what they had. Family building. My father joined the United States Army.
Yep, just like my dad.
Huge role in shaping who I am today. What a slap in the face it would be to him if I sat around about how terrible my life is, despite all the scraping and clawing he did, in addition to my mother, to provide an excellent life for me.
And that's something that I saw when I went down to St. Lucia, to the home country in January. I walked in the footsteps of my ancestors. I saw what it would be like to walk across a little town and think about, like, you're walking with a donkey with a load of vegetables and this, that, and the other, and you're living the old country style in the old world. And that's just 2 generations away from me. You know, I still have an auntie 1 generation away from me that still lives in the old family home. So it's eye-opening to actually breathe and experience that and be able to see that firsthand.
And that's how you guys sound. You live in a country with essentially unlimited access to food, where there's people in countries that barely have any food, or they don't have access to clean food or clean water and extra things like that. You have the ability to be gluttonous. Do you not realize if you're going to try to piggyback off of movements, because let's be honest, every movement tries to piggyback off the Black struggle movement, right? That's why they're always looping Blackness.
And there it is. This is my problem with diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know where diversity training came from and what diversity training was initially invented for. We know what body positivity was created for. We know these things, and people continue to co-opt it based on their feelings, based on their entitlement, and based on their outright laziness. Like nothing should have ever been co-opted with DEI. Actually, DEI probably should have only been DEI to ensure that women were receiving equal pay. But you've got all the alphabet people jumping on it. You got the chunky people jumping on it. When's it going to fucking end? Oh, and by the way, where's the recognition for the individuals it was initially created for? How far down does that get pushed down the priority list? Because now you have the rainbows that are all loud, the 0.001% of our society that are the loudest.
Into this type of thing for some reason, as if that has anything to do with it. But if you're going to do that, at least be respectful and not so tone deaf. Like a whole bunch of these other modern social justice movements, the proponents of the fat acceptance movement aren't calling for equality and equity. They're calling for special privileges.
Yep, just like I said.
Nothing we do is ever going to be enough. It's not enough to say, I don't make fun of people for being overweight. That's not enough. They want to be worshiped. They want you to prefer them over other body types. And God forbid if you don't, it makes you fat phobic.
Absolutely.
You're a bigot.
Absolutely.
But aren't these the same people that shame privilege?
Yes, that's true. An example of this is this very interesting concept of late where fat people are demanding free seats on airlines or trying to make petitions for them or something. It's
Y'all do know that Southwest Airlines has approved that, right? And there's like TikToks about fat creators that are getting their free seats on airplanes and shit. I'm not impressed by that at all. At all.
like, are you insane? So I have to pay if I need 2 seats for a plane.
Right.
Because maybe it's just myself and another person and I need to pay for 2 tickets. But since you're so large that you can't comfortably fit into 1 seat, then you should get a free seat. And the one girl I listened to said you should get up to 2 free seats, basically a whole row if need be. Well, I'll just be Agatha. I'll just be a monkey's uncle. See, the privilege thing is only a problem when it's not them getting it. It's so easy for the social justice warriors of today to, oh, all white men are privileged. All white people are privileged.
Right.
All every such and such person, skinny people privileged. Man, listen, it's not about privilege all the time. Maybe there are some that exist, but a lot of times what you're really upset about is not having access to a desirable outcome. You think that leveling a playing field is going to still present you with the same outcome
Right.
as people who've done things differently than you.
And that's where the unrealistic demands come in. That's where the extra seats come in. That's where the adoption of extra protocols in the workplace come in, and co-opting what belonged to somebody else. Yeah, they see it working fine for rainbow. Yeah, they figure it'll work fine. Let's try it. Yep. So they latch onto it. And the rainbow folks latched onto the women. The women latched on. Well, the women rightfully should have been represented with black folks, etc. Right. Make sure that everybody gets the fair wages and is treated fairly. It's a human right.
At the end of the day, a woman who has made the sacrifices, turned down the cupcake when you decide to eat 4, that woman's body is something she earned and she's going to get rewarded for it. She's going to be picked first. She's going to be respected more. Is it always fair? Maybe not. But I'm the type of person I like to think logically. I like to think if I was existing during the time of Socrates and Plato, that I would be sitting alongside them in those caves and we would be deeply thinking, and I would say meritocracy is the way. Some fat acceptance influencers have gone so far as to say the towels at the hotel are too small as well. And I get to thinking, have these people ever once considered that if thousands
Yes, absolutely, Amanize. And I don't know if you were here earlier, but yeah, I definitely mentioned that as well. There are definitely medical reasons. There are definitely other reasons for people who have excess weight. I've got a bestie who has medical issues. She's fluffy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the way that things are for some individuals. But what we're looking at here are the gluttonous masses of humanity that are exploiting.
Thousands upon millions of people visit hotels all across this country each year. How could the hotel possibly accommodate for every outlier size person? The logical thing would be to make your towels accommodable.
Lollygagging.
Accommodable?
Acco-
Accommodable?
acco-
Make them able to be accommodated for average size. That makes the most sense. You have to appeal to the majority because you're never going to be able to appease everyone. That's just how politics in general work as well. But I know many people don't understand that. Okay. Like, I could be wrong, but I don't see little people making such a big fuss about things. Have you ever noticed that? Like, they're a marginalized.
I was just thinking that. Excuse me. Bring your own towel and let it go. It's not a big deal. Just pack your own towel. I mean, you can't be lazy about life. Like, heck, I went overseas and I packed everything I needed. I didn't worry about nothing. Like, you can't be lazy. I had the towels. I had everything I needed. You know, it's you have to be aware. You have to be accountable for yourself. You can't be lazy. Oh.
Group of people, you know, with them representing such a small group of the population, they don't have things designed to fit them and to fit their needs. But when it comes to their homes and cars, they will get them adjusted and they'll get them fit to their liking. And guess what? If I had a little person as a friend and I wanted to go visit their home, I can't go and complain about the fact that the sink is down to my knees. That's what's comfortable for them.
Right.
That's what makes sense for them. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. So if those people who have something that they can't even control, if those people are able to zip it and find a way to navigate themselves in this world.
Right. Navigate big people life.
Person with
Navigate.
a problem that is 100% of your choosing and
Right. From navigating big people life to navigating able people life. Like, these people aren't outliers. These people are part of society. Like, we have we have handicap spots for a reason. We don't have fatty spots. We don't have rainbow spots. We don't even got black spots.
doing. Because what you guys like to do is you like to say, it's genetics. I have a thyroid condition. And I will say this, if you have a thyroid condition, obviously, you know, you can't help that. That does play a role in
Or like an insulin resistance or other condition. It definitely plays a part in it.
it. But honey, that is not the majority of y'all. Y'all can
It's not the majority.
The majority of y'all is eating and eating a whole lot too. Eating enough for 3 and 4 people in one sitting, let alone an entire day. I would shudder to think of how many calories some of these fat influencers, these fat acceptance, body positivity people, I can't imagine how many calories they're consuming in a day. And you know they're not burning any of them off because they don't believe in exercise. I never thought a sentence like that could exist either. Who doesn't believe in exercise? How can exercise be offensive? But alas, the West in 2024.
Right.
Not to mention, just like I mentioned this earlier, but this overall lack of self-awareness and tone deafness and just disingenuousness, hijacking a movement that was meant to authentically bring awareness and lower ignorance towards individuals with disabilities, people who have height struggles, whether they're exceptionally tall or
Right.
exceptionally short, people with extra hairy faces.
And I don't know if I've told y'all before or not on a previous stream, but I'm just going to say it here now. I've been a heavy supporter of the Special Olympics for the past almost 10 years, 11 years of my life, and all the way up to sponsoring families so that they can visit Olympian or stay in hotels and visit Olympians at the games. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a vested interest in people being represented properly. All right. Not only because I have brown skin, but because I have a vested interest in community. I have a vested interest in proper causes and not these made up causes based on people's feelings.
I don't know, just to further indulge yourself. Because let's be honest, more times than not, being as overweight as some of these people we're seeing online, that only comes from overindulgence and a sedentary lifestyle. A person relegated to spending the rest of their life in a wheelchair would gladly walk around a walking track. But you can, and you simply don't. Then you have the nerve to make their movement about you. Fat acceptance proponents, class acts. Well, guys, did you enjoy this video?
She awesome.
If so, make sure to
She gets my vote.
the like.
She cool. Go check her out, J Mac. She's on the tube. Chill Out J is her channel, J Mac 1993. Shout out. All right. I'm going back to this crazy individual. Gentlemen, be careful. That's not a lady. But anyway, Blair White. Let's cap this off with the short that she brought up earlier.
Because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I've got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead. Join me on my Fat Positive radio show, which didn't last long because she died.
Yeah. And again, folks, these are the extremes. These are the radicals. But like, well, we're all familiar with in the hip hop industry, the Sexy Reds, the Sukianas, right? We know where we're going with this. They're the radicals. They're the ones that have swung the pendulum too damn far into debauchery. And this is the same thing on this side of the line. This body positivity bullshit has swung the pendulum far too far. So again, you got these 0.00 percentages raising hell. So now we're going to go into body shaming, and we're doing this from the perspective of, I do believe, a 20-something Asian lady. So we're going to find out as we go along here. Altiori, if you are into gaming and you want to explore a little bit more, right? Shake up your algorithm, y'all. Shake up your algorithm. It's at Altiori on YouTube, the little fox, gray animated fox avatar. All kinds of cool stuff to look into. Movies, pop culture. And now we're going to talk about video games and where it's going with the whole body shaming and how it's shaking everything up. Let's go. Fair use, fair use. Altiori, don't strike me. One love. I gave you a shout out.
We're talking about just having a pretty face. It's like, have a look what they did to Alo in whatever that.
Yeah, check this out. Look at that. That's a character. That's a female character. Now I'm going to pause right here real quick. So we're talking about body positivity, body shaming, all of the above. And we saw the root of the problem in the previous React video, right? So now we're looking at what the effect. There's the cause. Here's the effect. So this woman on the left, I wish. I mean, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And that is the model that they use to create the CGI character on the right for an upcoming game. That's what they did to her because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They wanted to be inclusive in appearance, and we're obviously encroaching on androgyny here, where she has a more masculine look, obviously. The model herself has a strong jaw, but it's a very feminine jaw. Look at what they did to her in CGI. It's disgusting. So this is what we're facing.
And Mary Jane in Spider-Man. Did I already mention Mary Jane?
Yeah, and then there's Mary Jane in Spider-Man. So you think about Kristen Dunst playing Mary Jane in the movie.
The Fable trailer, right?
Hold on here.
And, Mary Jane in Spider-Man. Did I?
There we go. There's Mary Jane in Spider-Man. I don't know if any of you have played that game, but apparently she is overpowered and is just as brutal in combat as Spider-Man is in the game. Girl power and all.
Already mentioned Mary Jane? Like, they go out of their way to not only uglify, make women look like men. It's almost like that they're trying to imply something there.
True, like I said, graphically, the combat-wise looks great, but I can't get past their faces looking like little girls. Either way, we'll see how they turn out whenever they're released. I feel like people like this really do a disservice to the actual bad actors that are trying to use, like, lolly content. I'm gonna be real. I think this is pretty close. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, we'll get into it. That's Stellar Blade there.
Crazy thing to say.
But I can't get past the over-sexualization of Stellar Blade. It would have been passable if their female characters didn't have the faces of a dang child.
Wrong.
Freaking weird. And if you find this arousing, you need to get all your hard drives and phones checked by the FBI.
What are you talking about?
Right. Look at all these females. Some of the hottest females in gaming.
Swirling around the digital renderings of characters in the pixelated realms of video games, especially when it comes to the brushstrokes that paint female characters in hues of attractiveness, is a rich tapestry woven with threads of gender representation, inclusivity, and the unbridled spirit of artistic freedom.
Right.
It's a debate as layered as the finest in-game environments, where every texture and shadow tells a story. Enter the portrayal of attractive female characters in titles like Stellar Blade, a decision that, far from being a mere brushstroke of vanity, serves a palette of purposes that can enhance the game's allure, narrative depth, and player connection. However, the chorus of critics who view such character designs as a narrow gateway that limits inclusivity or as a problematic ideal to aspire to calls for a deeper dive into the waters of the discourse. A nuanced exploration akin to navigating the complex lore of a well-crafted RPG. It's a conversation that invites us to toggle the joystick of our perspectives, exploring the labyrinthine dungeons of this debate with a wit sharp enough to cut through the thickest of plot armors.
Let's go. I like her approach.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
All jokes aside, I know this originated from the whole male game
Christy.
theory, but honestly, when you see characters that are already established and then you change them so drastically...
Yeah, there's the face model for Aloy. And they sharpened her chin. What else they do? I don't know. They flattened her face or something and widened it. They really didn't need to do that to her. Maybe it's the hairline.
To make other people who are insecure about themselves feel better, it comes off as very cheesy and like projection.
Jill?
You have people arguing that since it's a fantasy, there shouldn't be anyone upset, right? Okay, if it's all rooted in fantasy, why then do some people get triggered and offended to the point of demanding changes?
Right.
Right? On the other hand, there are those who argue from the stance that video game characters being pixelated creations bear no resemblance to real women. Yes, precisely because they're fantasy and they're video game characters. I find it really amusing how people flip-flop between sides of the argument based on their whims for the day. People
Right.
can get worked up about a game's intro menu or a character creator asking for your pronouns because, after all, it's a fantasy and everyone should just chill out about that, right? I completely agree. If it doesn't affect the gameplay and you have full freedom to customize your character however you want, that's what customization is all about. I agree with that. Live your best life and immerse yourself in your fantasy world. That's fair.
Still haven't got my balance. Though my eyesight seems to be better than ever. Especially when it comes to...
What the hell? He's like, take my credit card. Take my credit card now.
Whenever people express a desire to see attractive characters in games, only to be met with claims that real women don't look like that. First of all,
Wrong.
where do you live? What planet do you hail from where your human women don't look like that?
Right.
What are some people even talking about? Then you have ignorant people who, I guess, have been around box-shaped people their entire life, so they...
And see the other piece of this puzzle, and I'm just going to put it out there. Look at Wolverine with the little scrimpy arms. That caught me off guard. I paused it. That's a good pause right there. But the other piece of this puzzle is, where in the planet do you live? You see, like, people don't go anywhere but their own backyards. And I'm sorry to simply say, the backyard in America is fat as fuck. Ohio is not somewhere to brag about having a bunch of baddies or women of all shapes and sizes as a regular thing. It's just not. Parts of Ohio, yes. Areas of towns, yes. But as an overall, you are not going to say that. You're going to say there's all kinds of potato dumpling shapes. I don't know. Something like that. I don't know. Compare different potato sizes. You got some russets on this side of town, and we got the Idahos down here on the south side of town, and we got the other ones over there on the north side. I don't know all the different potato types, all right? Choose your own dumpling size. Like it's not what you're not going to see. That's why half the time you got simps going crazy when they see one quote unquote baddie that's like an international 6'7". So people don't leave their backyards. I left my backyard 3 times last year. I left my backyard already once this year overseas for family. And I'm telling you, the rest of the world don't look like your backyard.
They think no other body type exists, or people like the poster from the intro portion of this video clip.
Bam! We're going to talk about her at the end.
Their bubble of existence look like children.
God, you're weird, aren't you? I mean, you're really weird.
Maybe if that's all you're used to seeing from that perspective, you're going to see
right.
everything. I don't know if maybe you're used to seeing children.
And that's an intellectual thing. That's a psychological piece of who we are. A lot of people don't view anything higher than what's around them and people around them. They're incapable of seeing that there is a world view, or they discount that. Fuck what they thinking. That's like that. That's white people shit. That's you're not even leaving your own backyard to explore the cultures that are around you in your own damn city and what other people are doing. That's just some white people shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you look beyond your yard, beyond your country, and you look at things on a global scale and how people interact with one another, you then get a different perspective of life. You then get a different perspective of your existence on this fucking planet.
In makeup where you live, or I don't know, if you're seeing children everywhere, that's a sign that you probably need to get checked. Or maybe your women age like milk, and so every other ethnicity out there looks immature by comparison. And I know I'm being a little snarky when I say that, but have you...
Yeah, there are a lot of women. There are a lot of women in the islands that don't age badly at all. I mean, they're in their 60s and they look very good for their age. It's just, some cultures, people age differently. Some people age like milk.
A lot of people who age very quickly have different genetics or lifestyle choices that cause them to age more, like wearing tons of makeup and doing meth. I don't know. I mean,
doing meth.
People to look way younger than they actually are. At 106, the age at which my grandfather died, he looked like a 60-year-old man with the smoothest skin ever.
Yeah, see, that kind of thing. Like, my auntie died at 109, and she did not look 109. She was vibrant. Her skin was very, she looked vibrant. She looked alive and well. She wasn't like all waif and skeletonally like a lot of these people look. Did you see they're in their hundreds or look sick, like they can barely hold their bodies up? No. This lady had meat on her bones. She looked healthy. She was just tired, and that's at 109. But also too, that's a different country, different food, different lifestyle, different lack of stressors that we have here. And that Caribbean sun.
Most people from my country look that way as well. I've been carded as an adult. My husband as well has been thought to be a minor just based on how we look. And most people from his ethnicity look that way too, and mine. Both of us have been told that we look like children, and it wasn't malicious. No one was trying to be mean to us. But then imagine having someone come out and utter some
Yeah, the one ex that I had the real long relationship with, she's like 5 years younger than me. Oh no, she's 6 years younger than me, and she looked very, very youthful. She had a very, 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 she had smooth skin. She was petite and she looked very youthful. And I don't remember what the occasion was. It might have been like wintertime, and she's bundled up in like pink or something. And somebody thought it was my daughter, and it was like the most embarrassing thing I ever experienced. But there are just individuals that have youthful looks. You know what I'm saying? She was in her 40s. She was in her late 30s, early 40s, and she looked youthful.
Nonsense like this about characters in a video game that have our ethnic background or look like us, it just comes off as straight racism. Now, I don't think the person who made the post is racist. I think he's just ignorant. But after it became a discussion, I realized that this is a common trope. And I don't know where we got to the point where people who are attractive or just look like normal people all of a sudden are not realistic yet.
Because everybody in America pushes fast forward too. When you're talking about Western reviewers, when you're talking about, look at how women are slutted up these days. Doesn't matter what color they are, they're slutted up when they go out, when they put themselves on blast on social media. Like half the time you can't tell them away from a drag queen anyway, but everything in excess, and you have someone that's just naturally has a youthful, natural look to them. They just look good naturally. Is offensive.
As I said before, that argument makes no sense because even though you're putting...
Also, too, X-Girl didn't wear all the spider's makeup and weave. Shout out to Michonne again. Like, there wasn't all that bullshit. So her body wasn't on the wear and tear of all the makeup on, makeup off, and whatever else y'all be going through. These ladies be going through. Not y'all, but y'all. You know what I mean?
Pushing from some ounce of realism in video games are still fantasy, so why would it matter? Also, on another note, a lot of women, especially I think the model here was a Korean woman, most of that...
Yes.
It's very, very strict when it comes to beauty standards. So everyone, including women, especially in other countries as well, wear makeup specifically to look younger than they are. I watched this Korean woman. She is 50-something, I think, and her husband is 34. And because she wears so much makeup and she got plastic surgery, you can't tell. In certain light or where she's not wearing a lot of makeup, she looks her age. Have you seen videos on the internet?
Wow.
How people make themselves look completely different?
Yeah, that's witchcraft. These are those witchcraft videos. That shit's outrageous. See, that's why you can't trust that mess, man. That's what I was talking about before. And you've added all that to your face. Of course, somebody that looks like that is going to talk crap about the Korean girl.
Makeup they're wearing, and the woman...
I mean, this is West. This is the West. It's like, that's not, I think that might be like a wedding photo shoot or some shit, but she'll go half on that to go on a date with somebody, guarantee it. She'll put half that effort in to go on a date. It's all witchcraft.
In the Stellar Blade game, is wearing makeup, like most women in video games. So even though I'm a straight woman, I love to watch other women in video games. I don't care if they're wearing makeup or whatever, but I like watching pretty people, like other people.
Yeah, Blaze, exactly, bro. I mean, like, I'm almost 50, and bro, I'm moisturized, bro. Like, you get out the shower, you get the cocoa butter, you know what I'm saying, man? You lube up your body, man. Your skin's the biggest organ on your whole body. You got to take care of everything, man. You know what I'm saying? You get your face regimen, you get your masculine high maintenance day in. You know what I'm saying? You manscape, you handle business, you take care of yourself. We're not going all Kevin Samuels on it, but you know what I'm saying? You moisturize your skin, you keep yourself looking good, and then you smell good. It should just be part of the whole thing. And for me, it's always been a thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you always just take care of yourself. But I grew up around men who groomed. You know what I'm saying? They groomed themselves. They shaved, and they had the aftershave, and they used straight razors, and they wore ties and tie clips and cufflinks, and you know what I'm saying? Like, all the pieces of accoutrement that make a man, you know, in his formal as well as his casual. Take all that off, put your dirt boots on, and let's go turn the soil for the garden. So Yeah, it's all part of who you are. It should always be grooming. Should always be a major part of taking care of yourself. 100%.
People like watching pretty people. I don't like playing with Barbie dolls growing up. I don't like them. I still don't. But I guess this would be my equivalent. I can't wear skyscraper ankle death break heels, much less fight in them or dance in them, and most people can't. There are certain outfits on these characters I would never wear in public, but yet you get to explore being this person in a video game and watching her kick ass while she has a ponytail longer than her body.
And let me tell you something too.
Because
All right, ponytail. Pause right there. Let me tell you something too. Like some video games, I feel like being hardcore. Some video games, I feel like being the Space Marine. I feel like grabbing aliens by their face and smashing them and smushing their skulls and stomping on them. Come on, man. That's what, you know what I'm saying? That's after work. That's like, you got to get that frustration out. Sometimes you feel like doing that. Other times, if I'm playing a long adventure game with a narrative and things and people are talking and everybody's going and telling me to go here and go there, I very well might not like looking at a nice figure 8 posterior for the length of my adventure. So, you know what I'm saying? It all depends on what you want when you want to escape. Some people want to read a book about a male captain of a starship. Some people may want to read a book about a woman who gets swooped up by a guy on a horse that looks like fucking Fabio. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all about the escapism. It's all about the fantasy. It's all about whatever you want to explore and imagine. I don't understand why it's so difficult for individuals to want to be an individual. These art studios, these gaming studios are individuals who came up with a concept. They sat down, they whiteboarded out what they were going to do, and they put together this vision of Eve. What's the problem?
that would have gotten caught in so many situations where she's fighting. I mean, someone can literally grab it and wrap it around her neck and tie up her whole body and restrict her with her own ponytail. And she would have been scalped a long time ago. But everybody who is mature understands that this is a video game. It's fantasy. Even kids understand this. Those pearl clutchers are acting like the helicopter parents in those old articles talking about the satanic panic, where everyone thinks that video games are out to get the kids and they're all evil, and if there's violence and
Yeah, the music. Well, the satanic panic came from music first. It was the rock and roll music. They thought that it was all satanic music, and boom, the panic of the parents and the adults surrounding the music genre. But version 2 or 3.0, there was probably version 2.0 for rap music, and you probably had that around the time that Luther Campbell was brought up in front of court. And then you have, this is probably version 3.0 of the satanic panic, where you got violence and titties in video games.
in video games that's going to make humans violent by default. Why didn't they say that about Super Mario when he was going around crushing all those innocent animals?
Yeah.
You know, but healthy.
Mario was brutal as hell to them poor little turtles.
Differentiate what is fantasy and what is not. And if you can't differentiate that, or you're having an issue, then you need mental professional help. That's a very clear sign. If in your mind exists a fantasy and you think the entire world is supposed to revolve around the fantasy or fit that fantasy, then you are mentally ill. Likewise, if you try to tell people that women with certain
Not the Cleveland Clinic.
don't exist, where I can see that being the case in some circumstances, and most of the recent portrayals, it comes off like you're a narcissist who's never walked outside their basement or house, or turned on the TV, or seen
Absolutely.
social media.
Absolutely.
Why women are always the ones getting flack for this? Like, nobody's complaining about attractive video game character men. Where is the ire for that?
Right.
They're able to have their bowling alley
Right.
groins and ironclad abs and steroid-looking bodies, and people can thirst.
Hell yeah, we are. Manpower.
And they're fine. Talk about unachievable body types. Most of those men in video games are
Hell yeah.
like they're on a freaking planet of steroids.
Yeah.
And nobody says anything. And what many men, I didn't even know this until very recently too, most men cannot achieve that because you need to be on steroids to achieve it.
True that.
Nobody
Nope.
talks about unattainable body types when it comes to men, but women who literally just look normal. Oh, it's your unachievable body type. What? What?
Yeah. Unachievable. Because you have no ambition, you will never achieve it. Even if you can't, you still have no ambition to do what you need to do. Not you all, but you all know who I'm talking about.
Wow. Okay. They're always made to look attractive, these men. But yet the women are the ones that have to be blown up to look like the worst thing possible. I like looking at pretty men and women in my video games. I
Facts.
don't know what the problem is. I swear some of these people need help. If you were that offended over a video game based on people having a normal body type, okay, her butt is bigger. People have big butts. I've seen disproportionate people that are thin up top, like really, really,
Oh, what's up, little ma?
really thin, like no muscle whatsoever. And the bottom portion of them looks like it belongs to someone that weighs 500 pounds. They just put all their weight down there.
Lord of mercy.
I've seen people who are really top heavy and look like, you know, stick legs, chicken legs, and from the bottom down, they could pose for a freaking calendar with them.
Jeez.
And then up top, they're like basketballs. And it's just really interesting to see all the different body types of people. All different body types, shape, and sizes exist. And I agree, you shouldn't vilify or make fun of.
She put the dude in at last.
My country, we make fun of people all the time. You know, people call me small ears because my ears are small. I get it. I don't understand why all of a sudden it's a video game character is being offensive because they look normal. It's not like those gigantic boobs on anime girls that are down to their knees, even though I'm sure it exists because I've seen videos of women that have this abnormal growth in their breasts.
Yeah.
That they're literally like 90% boob.
Good God. Yeah, but that's like a health issue.
Being like, it's not funny because they're suffering and they have to get surgery to get, like, I feel bad about my boobs. Man, you can't even walk with them things. And people will look at that. That doesn't exist. If you can think about it, it probably does. There were people who existed that are 9 feet tall. It probably does.
Right.
The only thing I can say probably is out of the realms of possibility right now are people that are 20 feet tall. I mean,
Attack on Titan, yo.
have kaiju situation, we'd have a lot of questions.
Hell yeah. What is that?
This is not a big deal. I think that women should be empowered and we have bodies.
Yes.
Shouldn't be made to feel like our bodies are not normal because a video game character offended some people who probably want to look like that. I don't really know what the problem is. They don't change the men, but the women are the ones that
right.
get changed and are constantly criticized. You can't even escape in fantasy. And nobody, by the way, is attacking games like Pokemon or anime. They're fine, but for some reason, a game that people are looking forward to,
right,
it's not okay because her body is offensive to some people. I don't know. I don't know, but it's an interesting discussion to have.
And these are men and women, by the way, as we saw at the beginning of her video, that are bitching and complaining. Men and women.
Let's talk about it. What do you guys think? Do you think that maybe her wearing certain clothes is too much? I don't see a problem with it. I personally wouldn't wear that stuff in public, but it would be nice to see a character going around dressed like that, where you can get away with wearing stuff like that, beating up things and monsters while dressed like a dominatrix. I think that's pretty cool. I like that. I like jiggle physics. I do. I wish they had it more for men, if you know what I mean, but
she wants jiggle physics for the boys.
The point is, women like it too. Nobody had issues with this.
Facts.
Until recently, and it's like the very low percentage of people that are insecure or want to look like those women have an issue with it. It doesn't mean everyone should change to suit what's making you feel offended. I don't know. Maybe I'm too offensive myself.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
You ask, we answer.
That's what's up, Altiori. All right, folks. That's Altiori. Like I said, go check her out. They got some good stuff. I think she's got like a little team of folks working with her. Stellar Blade, the reason we're here. So that's what she was talking about. Here's one of the characters. Was that Lily, your trusty sidekick? She's your little weapons manufacturer, upgrade genius. And this is just too offensive. I mean, she's thicker than a Snicker where she needs to be, but this is just offensive to everybody. I mean, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So as promised, before I get out of here, there she is. Here's the base model. go check out her Instagram real quick. A very real woman. So this is the Korean model that is stirring up all the trouble in my pants. The trouble in the social media. And apparently she's unrealistic. Oh, she's so cute. That's just... So, yeah, she's real. People need to touch grass, get out, explore the world, and understand that you can feel good about yourself. You're not going to be everyone else. Maybe some people need to stay the hell off of social media. Stop comparing themselves to others. That might help. Take a break. Separate yourself from the social media influences and the things that make you feel like shit. The things that make you feel worse about yourself. Make you want to indulge in vapid consumerism. Just blindly buying things to fill holes in your life. Holes. To fill spots in your life where you feel like you're not worthy or you don't have something. There's always another way to approach these situations, especially about body image. But co-opting from the crippled kids, that's not cool. That's not cool. Being lazy about your life to the point of your health failing or your body suffering, that's not cool at all. And more than anything, trying to convince others to accept you and accept your lifestyle as a way of life when it is obvious that it is not the way, that delusion also has to stop. That's just my 2 cents. Y'all know where I stand on the subject. But in this case, they crossed the line talking about Stellar Blade. They need to keep their mental issues and body issues out of the gaming sphere. We're going to get into this a little bit more throughout the year. We're going to talk a little bit more about DEI and ES, as in Sam, G, ESG scores. That's a whole investment scam in and of itself, built around businesses and how businesses represent DEI. So we will definitely get into that because the ESG scores, man, that is one hell of a hustle I wish I was part of in some way, shape, or form, let me tell you. But I'm not gonna spoil it for now. Leave something for the future because we got plenty of time here and we got plenty of content to go through together. Professor Lovely Lady, thank you for joining. We're about to wrap up for the evening, but please, please, please catch the replay. We go into body positivity in this episode and then round it off with how the pendulum has swung so far that it is impacting video games once again. So, but yes, we'll have plenty of content. There's plenty of things to pull from in society that either impact us through culture, knowledge, or entertainment, and I'm here for it. So look for that future episode. Again, that's going to be on ESG scores and how ESG factors into going woke and going broke, and how Disney is suffering, how the shareholders are suffering. Shareholders of Disney are suffering. Shareholders in video game companies are suffering. And these corporations are firing staff in mass because they can't meet the bottom line. So more of a technology piece in that case. But at any rate, everyone, please, Team Replay, catch the video, like, subscribe as always. To everyone who is out there, Professor Lovely Lady, Blaze, Josh, we had Miss Queen Sunkiss, Sis, Almond Eyes, thank you very much. Bronze Flat, Power God was here with us this evening. Woody Johnson came through, thank you very much for showing up. Derek, and I think Derek Gaines, and I think that was it. Yeah, I think I got everybody. As always, my avatars are lurking in the distance, Kawhi and Cat and Poncho. Go subscribe to Cat and Poncho for the latest awesome gaming content. There's always something going on over there, minus technical issues, of course. I think we knocked this show out the park today, though. I got the technical issues ironed out. It only took me, a few months. But thank y'all for joining me this evening. Have a wonderful night wherever you are. Big up yourselves. Be safe. Peace.
It was a provoking challenge, and nowhere did the challenge provoke more
Averaging a peak, I'd say about 0.1 amp.
To develop and introduce America's first all-electronic television system.
But Mr. Bishop, this sort of thing is going on all the time. And if something isn't done about it now, someone's going to...
I'm in the airlock now, and it's dumped to, well, first I dumped it to 9, and then it crept back up to 9.5. I dumped it again, and it's sitting at 8.5 right now. And
Nancy feels that a newspaper, any newspaper, has the obligation to deliberately deal with those things which demand public attention. How do you feel about the controversy?
Basically, the fan behaves the same on Joe's suit. When I first turned the power on, or just prior to that, he's drawing 0.6 amps. It goes off scale high for a few seconds, falls back down to about... Motorboats around there.